I'm also here at Eurobike with Jonathan. Jonathan, nice to meet you. Thank
Nice
you
to meet
for
you, Stan.
inviting us at Motinova. Motinova is a global manufacturer of motors for electric bikes, and I've had the luxury of testing one on Fongers, which is a Dutch brand. And I've also noticed that here with Oxford, we have one Belgian brand present. Jonathan, could you explain us a little bit more? Because so far I've only tested the Bigazzi Plus, which is a very strong mid-hub engine used on cargo bikes, for example. I'll explain that in the review that we'll do soon enough, but I want to hear from you. Are there other models of motors that you guys want to focus on here at Eurobike?
Yeah, I would say that the two key mid-drives for Motinova are really, first we have the Migic C1,
Yeah.
and this is, I would say, for premium urban bikes. 75 newton meters of torque, high efficiency. The unique thing about Motinova motors, inside you have flat wire winding technology. What that means is you're going to get higher efficiency out of the motor. The motor also doesn't derate when it gets hot.
Okay.
It has very good thermal capability. It doesn't depower when it gets hot when you're going up a long hill,
Yeah.
which I think is one of the unique things about Motinova. Besides the really strong torque and of course the quality.
Yeah, and I have to let the people know as well. What I found very incredible was the instant reaction from the motor as soon as you put some pressure on. And with instant, I don't mean overpowered, but a natural feel of the wattage that I was pushing was given returns. And that was definitely also something that puts, for me then, Motinova on a higher level.
I'm glad you noticed that because one of the strengths of Motinova, which is part of the Midea Group, which
Yeah.
by the way, Midea makes about 300 million electric motors a year. So you might think that they know a thing or two about designing motors
Definitely.
and sensors. And of course, when you have motors and sensors, you need the electronics.
Yeah.
And so they develop all three of those things in-house. They have PhDs and an army of R&D engineers optimizing those things, the motors, the sensors, the electronics, so that you feel like it's just the hand of God pushing you up the hill or through the city.
It's definitely very, very smooth. Okay, so that's the reasoning behind it. And so apart from the Migic C1, because I heard there's other versions that are more meant for other bikes, is that correct?
Yes, exactly. So C1, maybe you think of it as city.
Okay.
So now we can go over to and see the Migic T1.
Okay, if you'll show the way, please.
Here's one view of the Migic T1 Plus. Previously, Migic T1, it was 90 newton meters of torque, which was a conservative torque rating for the motor when it first came out, just to make sure that they didn't sort of stretch the envelope too ambitiously. But over the years of having these motors out on the trails, on many different models, they realized that they're able to actually increase the torque level now to 110 newton meters.
Okay, that's quite powerful.
Yes, quite powerful. And that's 110 newton meters over a wide RPM range. So the rider's cadence, wide range, and also over a long period of time, I believe 5 to 7 minutes at that max torque. And how does Motinova achieve that? And also achieve the high quality? I think it's also nice to look inside the motor. We talked about the sensors. So here's the Motinova developed torque sensor. The electronics are all printed in-house. I've actually walked through their facilities to see how they make this motor, and blown away by the quality control during the printing of the circuit board, and that I think is what gives the Motinova product such high quality and reliability, which of course, and the e-bike is your transportation tool, you need
definitely.
that. The other thing to note is all metal gears. There's no nylon, plastic, whatever.
So even long duration at those high torque measures should be feasible.
Yes. So they have gearing engineers, of course, that from their home appliances and automotive and other divisions of Midea Group have applied that expertise into perfect gearing, match torque sensor and electronics. So you see it all comes together.
I've also noticed, and probably on the engine that will be the same, that there's a lot of effort being put into weight reduction, especially with the batteries, for example. Is that also something that we see in the engine, that the pieces are chosen on one hand for their durability, but on the other hand as well to keep the weight down, especially, for example, on mountain bikes?
Yeah, of course. And you can maybe see some of it. The volume is smaller, more compact, but they also do try to optimize the weight to get that perfect balance of durability, power, but also not so heavy, so that you get a nice feel for an e-mountain bike application.
Okay, so thank you. That's a great explanation on the motors. I also see the displays are quite different, and well, there's quite a few products available, so I'll make sure to check the rest out. But what I always wonder with electric bikes is it's never just a motor or a battery. It's also the UX, how the person uses it, the usability, not only for the driver, the end user, but also for brands. Now, we've seen here Oxford is one of Belgian brands that's already using your motor. What can you tell us more about what you offer to these brands and to the end user?
I would say that most recently, one of the things that we're really promoting here at Eurobike is that Motinova can be your one-stop shop for an entire system.
Yeah.
So as you can see here, we have the Migic C1 and the in-tube battery, cycle computer, also new this year, the IoT unit, combined with radar and the helmet. What that does is it's a new safety feature.
Yeah, I haven't seen this ever.
Yeah, so the radar will measure the distance of the cars behind you, communicate it, if the cars are getting too close, communicate it to the rider through the helmet.
Audio?
Yes.
Okay.
Audio. There's lights integrated into the helmet as well. So if you have turn signals on the display, you can actually activate the turn signals on your helmet. So it's all communicated wirelessly. The IoT device also can tell you things through your phone app, sometimes connected to the display as well. They can tell you things like, is your bike, is it tipped over? Is it being moved?
Okay, so more safety,
anti-theft and safety type features built into this IoT device. Yeah, so additional sensors, leveraging Motinova's capabilities in sensors, IoT, to give the rider just an enhanced experience. So the mid-drive system plus IoT, as I said, this is a one-stop shop option for brands. Some brands may not want this component or that component. We offer the flexibility to have that mix and match capability if the brand needs it.
Okay, thank you. Great explanation. So I noticed they can choose a one-stop shop, either everything or a small piece, but there's also always the after sales, the service after the sale. And there we focus more on the retailers who end up selling this product. So I wanted to ask her, you have a service center in the Netherlands. How does that benefit the European market entirely? And what are the things that Motinova offers to them, as well as the retailers, to improve the way of working?
So one, it's physical infrastructure in the Netherlands that supports for after-sales parts, but also when the parts come back, Motinova analyzes any part that fails in the field to figure out why, in order to direct that feedback to the R&D team so that in the next generations, the product is even more robust.
Yeah. And you mentioned some type of tool that they have there. Is that something you want to elaborate on?
Yeah, so one of the also important aspects of Motinova, I'd say one of the strengths besides quality, R&D, and technology is this focus on after-sales service.
Yeah.
And really providing tools for the dealer to make after-sales service easy.
Yeah, definitely necessary.
So service, how do we make it simple for dealers to figure out what is wrong on the e-bike? Really, all the dealer needs is this device plugged into their computer. They need the software on their computer, and this device plugs into the display via these two cables. Once that's plugged in, the dealer can go through the various parts of this software to run tests on each of the basic diagnostic test to figure out which component has an issue.
And so if I understand correctly, if tomorrow a retailer or a bike shop has a Motinova engine that comes in, they can just contact you, or how does that work?
Yes, they contact Motinova to receive free training on the system, the software, how to download it, and the tool. And then they have everything they need to service a Motinova powered e-bike.
Okay, great. Thank you for this elaborate explanation. I hope to see more Belgian brands adopting the Motinova as well as Dutch brands as our neighboring country. Why not? Thank you again for this explanation. And I will let you know how it rides when I test it in a few weeks on the 11 bike.
Yes.
Thanks a lot.
All right.